Today, we are going to crack the code on one of the most common medical tests you'll ever see, the Complete Blood Count, or CBC. Our mission? To turn that confusing page of numbers and abbreviations into a story about your health that you can actually understand.
You know that feeling, right? You get a lab report back. You look at it, and it feels like you're trying to read a secret language. If you've ever been there, don't worry. You are not alone. But what if I told you it's way simpler than it looks?
You see, the CBC is a super routine test, but it is incredibly powerful. Doctors order it all the time because it gives them this amazing, broad snapshot of your overall health. It can hint at everything from a simple infection or anemia to much more serious conditions.
So let's think of the CBC as your blood's own secret report card. In this explainer, we're going to decode that report by looking at what exactly this test is measuring.
To keep it really simple, the CBC is basically just a head count for 3 critical teams that are always working in your blood: your infection fighters, your oxygen couriers, and your first responders. Let's meet the first team.
First up, we've got the infection fighters. Their official name is white blood cells, or WBCs. These guys are the soldiers of your immune system. They are your body's #1 defense against any kind of illness or invader. For this army of white blood cells, the target number is usually somewhere between 5 and 10,000 per microliter of blood. In a microliter, that is a very tiny drop. This range is our baseline, our starting point for a healthy immune system.
So, what happens if your numbers are outside that range? Well, a high count, which has the fancy name leukocytosis, usually means your body has ramped up its defenses to fight something off. On the flip side, a low count, or leukopenia, can suggest that your immune system is weakened or maybe even compromised.
So what kind of things could cause a high white blood cell count? Well, the most common reason, by far, is an active infection. But it could also point to more serious conditions, like leukemia, or even be a result of extreme physical or emotional stress.
And a low count? What's that about? Well, that can be caused by autoimmune conditions, where the body is kind of attacking itself. It can also be a side effect of treatments like chemotherapy, or result from severe illnesses that have just overwhelmed the immune system.
Now it gets even cooler. A more detailed test, called a CBC with Differential, actually breaks down your white blood cells into 5 specialized types. This gives doctors even more clues. As you can see here, each cell has a very specific job. For instance, if your neutrophils are high, a doctor might think, probably a bacterial infection. But if your lymphocytes are up, they're likely looking at a virus. It just shows you how specialized our immune response really is.
All right, let's meet our second team, the oxygen couriers. These are your red blood cells, or RBCs, and they are the tireless delivery drivers that keep your entire body fueled up and energized.
The main job of a red blood cell is simple, but it is absolutely vital. They pick up oxygen in your lungs and then deliver it to every single tissue in your body. And they do this using a special protein called hemoglobin. That's the part that actually grabs onto the oxygen.
So the CBC measures red blood cells in a couple of ways. 2 of the most important are hemoglobin, which tells you the amount of that oxygen-carrying protein, and hematocrit, which is the percentage of your blood that's made up of these cells. And you'll notice that the normal ranges here are a little different for men and women.
Now, when your red blood cell count or your hemoglobin levels are too low, that's a condition called anemia. You've probably heard of it. It can leave you feeling really tired and weak. And on the rare occasion that the levels are way too high, it's known as polycythemia.
Okay, that brings us to our third and final team, the first responders. These are your platelets. Think of them as your body's own emergency medics, always ready to rush to the scene of an injury to stop you from bleeding.
With these tiny little cell fragments, you need just the right amount. The normal range is actually pretty huge, somewhere between 150,000 and 400,000 per microliter. They are absolutely essential for forming the clots that seal up cuts and prevent you from losing too much blood.
And this right here shows the delicate balance that's required. If your platelet count is too low, a condition called thrombocytopenia, you're at risk for uncontrolled bleeding. But if it's too high, thrombocytosis, you're at risk of forming dangerous, unwanted blood clots inside your body. And as you can see, both conditions have a bunch of potential causes.
So now that we've met all 3 teams, let's put all the pieces of the puzzle together and see how this one report gives us a complete picture of your health. Think of it like this. Your CBC is a decoder ring for your body's current status. It's a quick, super efficient check-in on your infection fighters, your oxygen couriers, and your first responders.
By looking at the counts of all three, a doctor gets a fantastic overview of what's going on.
And really, the key takeaway is right here. A CBC tells healthcare professionals in a general sense how healthy a person is at that very moment. It's often the very first clue in a medical investigation.
So now you have the basic key to crack the code, which is awesome. But, and this is super important, this is to help you understand what is being measured, not why for your specific situation. It is absolutely essential to discuss your personal results with a healthcare provider who can put it all into context for you.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it, isn't it? All of this information, your body's defenses, its energy supply, its emergency response system, all of it, revealed in one simple test. It really makes you wonder, if this is what just one test can tell us, what other secrets does a single drop of blood hold?